Most people know about the fall of Rome, but it didn't fall just once. Actually, there was a second fall. Imagine a superpower so mighty its name alone inspired fear and admiration across continents. How could one of the most powerful empires in history collapse so completely, not once, but twice? What went wrong each time? And could either collapse have been prevented? We will uncover the mysterious story of the Roman Empire's double collapse. From political chaos to relentless invaders and even economic decay, this is the story of a fallen giant. To understand why Rome collapsed, we first need to appreciate the scale of what they built. At its peak around 117 AD, the Roman Empire spanned 3 continents, covering roughly 3.5 million square miles. It stretched from the deserts of Egypt and the fertile lands of the Middle East to the snowy mountains of northern Britain and the rugged coasts of North Africa. The empire was home to more than 60 million people from different cultures, speaking hundreds of languages, following varied traditions, and practicing diverse religions. Yet all of these regions, all these people were governed by one empire under one set of laws. This vast territory required an incredibly complex system to keep it running. The Romans built thousands of miles of roads, advanced aqueducts for water supply, and fortified borders to protect against outside threats. They even had a postal system for communication across the empire. Rome was a marvel of organization and engineering, but this massive territory also created a huge challenge. The empire's size meant it was difficult to govern effectively, and cracks began to show as Rome struggled to control such a vast and diverse population. With such enormous demands for military, economic, and administrative resources, the empire was bound to feel the strain. Let's fast forward a few centuries to the late 300s AD. By this time, the Roman Empire is in trouble. Corruption is rampant, economic instability is widespread, and its once feared army is in decline. The empire's size was now more of a liability than a strength. Economic troubles were hitting Rome hard. To fund its massive army and administration, Rome kept raising taxes on its citizens, squeezing farmers and traders to the point where some abandoned their land altogether. The empire even began minting coins with less silver content, which led to inflation and decreased trust in the currency. Meanwhile, corruption weakened the government from within. Powerful families and military generals often fought each other for control instead of focusing on the common good. Emperors changed frequently, many of them rising to power only to be assassinated or overthrown. Stability was a distant memory. And all the while, foreign tribes were pressing on Rome's borders. Germanic tribes like the Goths and Vandals, long kept at bay, saw opportunities in Rome's weakness. The Visigoths, for example, first entered the empire as refugees fleeing the Huns, but when they weren't treated well, they turned against Rome. In 410 AD, the unthinkable happened. The Visigoths sacked Rome itself. And in 476 AD, Romulus Augustulus, the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire, was overthrown. The Western Empire had officially collapsed. What had once been the mightiest power on earth was now broken, a patchwork of small kingdoms ruled by foreign invaders. But that wasn't the end of Rome entirely. While the western half of the empire was lost, the eastern part, based in Constantinople, lived on. Chapter 3. The Eastern Empire thrives. What was Byzantium? So what happened to the Eastern Roman Empire? This half of the empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, survived the turmoil that destroyed the West and even flourished for centuries. The Eastern Empire was different in many ways. It was wealthier, more urbanized, and had stronger trade connections with Asia. Its capital, Constantinople, was strategically located between Europe and Asia, making it a hub for trade and culture. Its location also meant it was far better defended from Western invaders. The Byzantines also had a strong and professional army, supported by an efficient bureaucracy and tax system that kept it well equipped. While the Western Empire fell into chaos, the Eastern emperors implemented reforms and built up defenses that helped the empire stand the test of time. Under Emperor Justinian in the 6th century, the Eastern Empire even reconquered parts of the old Western territories, including Italy and North Africa. Justinian was determined to restore the glory of Rome, and for a time it seemed like a second Roman Golden Age was on the horizon. But as time went on, the Byzantine Empire faced its own share of challenges, from both internal struggles and external threats, and eventually, it too would face a collapse. Chapter 4. The Second Collapse. Why did the Byzantine Empire fall? Now let's jump to the 1400s. The Eastern Roman Empire, now mostly limited to Constantinople and a few surrounding territories, is just a shadow of its former self. So, what led to the Byzantine Empire's ultimate downfall? Over the centuries, the Byzantines faced relentless invasions from all sides. They fought wars with the Persians, defended against Arab armies, and even clashed with European crusaders. In 1204, Crusaders captured and sacked Constantinople itself, severely weakening the empire. Although the Byzantines regained the city a few decades later, they never fully recovered. Then came the Ottomans, an unstoppable force from the east. Led by Sultan Mehmed II, they had advanced weaponry, including massive cannons that could break through Constantinople's walls. The Byzantines put up a heroic defense, but on May 29, 1453, after a brutal siege, Constantinople fell. With the fall of Constantinople, the Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, was no more. The city became Istanbul, and the final remnants of the Roman Empire faded into history. Chapter 5. Why did Rome fall twice? So why did the Roman Empire collapse twice, once in the West and once in the East? In the West, the empire's sheer size became unsustainable. Economic troubles, political corruption, and constant invasions eroded its foundations. Rome's decline was a slow, painful